Hello, it's Saturday. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm Laura from the Yarn Closet in Southern Arizona. It's slightly later than I would normally do this, so the light is wonky. Let's see if we can adjust something. See that? Is that helping? Oh, look at that. Look at that. Maybe that's helping a little bit. So, I did Lego League this morning. It was our final presentation at school. My daughter was in 4th grade Lego League, and I was kindergarten Lego League adult. And, oh my gosh. So fun. So fun. It's a lot throughout the year, but it's a lot of fun. And I got a haircut. We should have gone shorter. But remember how I had this stuff in the front that was bugging me? Well, we didn't go up to the shortest of it. We went up kind of middle of the way. And I didn't shampoo my hair this morning. It would look better if I did. And I have greasy stuff on my hair now. But I love it. I love it. I can do a little ponytail like this, which doesn't bother me. Next time we're gonna do it maybe even just a little bit shorter. So see how this is still swooping? So we're gonna do like one level, but here's the thing. This doesn't bother me now because this is so much shorter. It doesn't bother me anymore. I kind of like it. It's a little bit of an accent. And it's an easier ponytail. It doesn't weigh so much on my head. It doesn't pull so much. And so I'm thrilled. I would have been thrilled to do it in Tucson with my coupon and save $15. But whatever. I'm so disappointed in this sweater. But I think that I need to pull out and frog it because I'm not going to wear it. My daughter doesn't like the color. She's never really worn any of the sweaters I made for her that she wanted. So it is, I think, frogging time. So today I will frog as we chat. This week I made a bunch of squares. In my 6s and my 9s, I found out about a pregnancy, so I'm looking at making a baby girl. So blanket. I'm thinking those would be a nice green accent to go with some of the pinks that I have because I have a lot of pinks. We have 6 weeks left. Yes, we have 6 weeks left. It was Librarian's Day the other day. Did you know that? We didn't even know that in the library. A couple of our teachers knew that, and so they made a sign, and one of the teachers, 4th grade, my daughter's in 4th grade, it wasn't her teacher, it was a different one, even made the kids write notes to either the librarian or me, the volunteer, the substitute. And so I got a stack. Now they were forced to do this. It wasn't optional. Ms. Laura, you are the best in the world. I love the librarian. It's the best place in the world. Look at that handwriting. Here's the thing. Thank you for being a wonderful teacher at the library. Hope you have a great day. It absolutely made me want to cry. I know they were forced to do this, but they did it, and it was for me. You work hard, should get a reward. This is 4th grade handwriting, people. This is 4th grade handwriting, people. Now, we joked and said, oh, they're just writing big for me. And the teacher's like, no, that's how they write all the time. So, even my daughter has horrific handwriting. I've gotten a couple of things to try to help that over the summer. But she's also at the age where I have to do it with her, like a lot. So basically, she just did a blunt cut. We picked a level, she did a blunt cut. She did no layering whatsoever. And I kind of like that. Not necessarily at this length, but when it's shorter, because it makes it fuller. And then it can curl under, or it can tweak up real nicely, and I like it. Plus, it's easy to maintain, and it makes the haircuts go really fast. I might get to go this summer on the haircut extravaganza day, because this is a teacher who was a beautician and then became a teacher. So a bunch of people go over the summer, make a day of it, and I can bring my daughter. And she can play with her daughter, who's also in the same grade, not in the same crowd, but whatevs. And one cuff down. And that would be interesting for my daughter, because she really doesn't ever get to do like women's things. You know, even my mom and I don't ever go out alone together because we can't drive. We have to be supervised. I don't think this is going to come undone this way. I started here, so it's not going to do that really, is it? I gotta go the other way. So I think that would be fun for her. Because she's definitely getting to 5th grade is kind of marking the real solid tweeny teenager thing, which I think is crazy because they're 10 and 11. But that's when they're acting all teenagery. And my husband was mortified. We saw a bunch of 5th graders today, and he's like, what? I said, yeah, there were more girls in this activity this year in 5th grade, and yeah, that's what they look like. More makeup than me, better hairstyles, more grooming products. They wear these shorts now that are like spandex shorts, but like they look like boys' underwear. It's crazy, Tom, crazy. But this weekend he's helping his sister. Finally, she's gotten a new RV and she's putting in a proper RV station on her property. So she's looking at living out here. She's got quite a commute for work, but since she is a nurse respiratory therapist, she could really get a job anywhere. And we're gonna wait and see how this affects things. She's still got 2 years with her son in high school in Tucson, and I don't think he wants to transfer. But she seems pretty happy, and it's a nice little unit, and we're going to be as supportive as we can be. And there's an adorable little house in town that I love. And my husband's like, but the listing says it's a 2-bedroom and only 1,400 square feet. I said, honey, that's its legal stuff. There are 3 bonus rooms. So it's actually more like 1,900 square feet if you do the math, because I wrote it down and I did the math. because they finally put a map in the listing of each room and the measurements. So I did the math. It's more like 1,900 and some square feet. And he doesn't really like where it's located. It's right next to the police station. As a woman, I think being right next to the police station sounds great. It's got a huge fence around it, so, you know, why not? And we don't need all this space. Our kids find nothing of value in the outside. I walk every morning before life starts, and I walk a mile. So last year, you remember in February, my goal was to walk at least 5,000 steps and to average more than that in a day between my exercise walking and my regular life walking. And I've been able to pretty much maintain that because of my library existence, because you walk a lot in the library. And at 53 and a half, get the half in there. You know, one of the things that the doctor mentioned is the change in dietary and exercise, not requirements, recommendations for women in their 50s and then 60s. And she's like, you know, by the time you're 60, you should have more of a walking regimen and weight work regimen. So I got a 20-pound, it's kind of like the bar for barbells, but it's an exercise one. You can get adapters to actually attach little like hand weights and stuff to it, so you can grow the weight of it. But I also have a 10-pound, what do we call that? What do we call that? Not dumbbell, barbell. No, it's the funny one. It's this thing. Kettlebell. It's kettlebell. So you can put the bar through this and balance this to add weight. And because I am legally blind and I am unsteady on my feet sometimes, and because my muscle tone has really diminished, and that coincides with your bone density, she was a little concerned about my bone density, although we're not doing a DEXA scan yet. She's like, try twice a week to do some, because also you can't be doing these heavy duty things. She's like, one of her older ladies works out too much and never gives her body enough recovery time. And she's like, I don't think that the working out is helping her. So she said twice a week do mobility training, twice a week do some weights. And she said one option, she said, look into it, because it was a new kind of concept to her and she's younger. So I did. And what she said was weighted vest for walking. And she said she knows there are some weighted vests for walking that aren't a good style. It can cause more of that locked shoulder, frozen shoulder, and can, if you've got neck and back issues, can cause problems with it. So I did find this butterfly style. It's kind of like just a big cross. And because of my neck and back issues, she said, you know, err on the side of less weight. So I am going to order myself an 8-pound walking vest, and I am going to use it to start just 2 to 3 times a week. And then I'm going to, I already do some light exercises that help with mobility, things with my hips and my knees and my feet, so that I'm building stability so that I don't have falls and stuff. So, and because my husband is annoyed. He's annoyed by my level of conscientiousness in all of this, because he just wants to get old. And he's like, your yarn closet is turning into a workout room. And I said, here's the thing. I don't want to have multiple workouts during the week. It's hard enough to get my short walks in the morning, especially with school. And if at some point I lighten my school load, then I might have, like, if I only went 3 days a week instead of 4 days a week, then it might be a little bit easier to have those couple of days for exercise, because I need a break in between for recovery. And I have done research, and I do believe that that's key. So I'm not a person to kill myself. I'd rather wear a slightly weighted vest while I'm doing the thing that I already do and see how that improves. And one of the 60-plus-year-old ladies that I watch said she's, for 30 days, all she did was wear the weighted vest, and she wore it probably 5 days a week and with her walk, and she didn't change anything else. She said maybe as a result of the whole thing, she maybe snacked less during the day. But I'm thinking I could easily do that, and if all I'm doing is throwing on this vest. And she lost 12 pounds. But she was walking like 3 to 5 miles a day. What? Oops. My goal is, yes, I just licked my yarn because I dropped some coffee on it. My goal is, because 2 miles a day is 5,000 steps. 3 miles a day is 7,500. I do feel really good on the days that I hit that 7,500 mark. And there are plenty of days that I do that because of how much I walk at school. It's really hard in the winter when it's so dark. And I never really get the motivation this year when I came home from school to do the walk, which I should have. And I realized that really, if I do want to be the healthiest for my kids and deal the least with falls and breaks and whatever, then I do have to do something, and I do have to be a better committed partner to myself. So next year I will, during the dark season, do more walking in the evening when it's still after school and bright out, because it is dark by 6 o'clock here in the winter. And I have found a few exercises that I can do with the bar. I will show you this. So it's all padded, and it's got these plastic covers on the ends, and it's all padded. So you can do this regular thing, and because it's this longer bar, it does help with balance, but you can also put it on your shoulders for squats. I'm not going to put it on my neck because I don't want to injure that. But you can also put it on your hips as you squat, and I've been doing more squats the last week. Because squats are apparently king. And I'm doing this not really for what I look like, but for how I feel in my clothes, to be able to feel better in my clothes, to be able to feel more comfortable as I walk and trip and stuff, because I do trip a fair amount. Yeah, I'm gonna go a little bit shorter next time. And because it'll be easier to let it go longer between haircuts. And I just told my husband, that's it, we're done. I'm not playing this game anymore. I am not. My hair gets thinner in the front especially, and breakier, and I'm just not doing it. I don't like to sit and catch it. I wake up when I snag on it, when I roll around. So no, I'm Bob City. I'm embracing the bob. And so that's my goal, is to try to get my steps consistently up to, I did 5,000 last year. I know we're already in April, but if I can get up to 7,500 in a day, I think that would help, because apparently there is going to be another chink in the weight armor come 60, and I just don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with that. I want to be healthy, and I don't want to be constantly having to buy clothes. I want to feel good walking around, and I want to be able to combat illness. I've combated illness far better this year than previous years. And I feel like there's just a lot coming in the next 10 to 15 years of my life. I need to be better prepared for it. My parents will all be gone. There won't be any of them here in 15 years. There just won't. They've got too many issues, their age. There are very few people that live past 95. There's very few people that live past 90 now. As much as we talk about all of this, living to 115 and whatever, the numbers aren't really supporting it. Certainly not in America with all the highly processed foods and other issues that we have here. So, of healthcare and etc. And stress. And so I would really love to go look at that house in town, but I'd have to find somebody to buy my house. It would allow us to be far more involved in school, which my daughter and I would definitely do. And then the boys wouldn't necessarily feel as, because here's my thing. The biggest problem with the elderly and illness now they're finding is, and the bigger marker for lifespan, is social contact and interactions. Well, you know what that means? You've got to be committed to a place that you live in, a community. You've got to be either involved in a church and have a social network, or be involved in something. And I can't sit home alone all the time. I did it for plenty of years, and just waited for that husband to come home and, made good with the little bit of social that I had. I can't do it anymore. I need that commitment to a thing greater than myself. Being able to tell a couple of parents how kind their children are, or how articulate they are, or being able to just say nice things to other people during the day is huge. Yes, I would love to be a dog rescuer, cat rescuer person, but it's not realistic, and it doesn't get me out involved with other people. I've tried, and in my scenario, I need to be able to be involved with something that I can walk to. So, my God. This is the only way that I could do this, is to talk to you while I do it. Because now, so here's the thing. This was a little bit too tight, wasn't it? It was too tight. But it'll block a little bit looser. Will I like that if it's blocked looser? Let's feel it like this. Do I like it? Is it too tight? No, I actually kind of like it. So should I try? I'm going to try, as I unwind this, to pick up that first row with the right gauge needle. Let's see if we can do that. That's going to be really hard because this is a really big gauge needle. Am I going to have to use? Oh my gosh, people, this is so dangerous. Okay, here we go. I'm going to pick up with a smaller needle the stitches, and then knit onto that needle. So, that's pretty crazy. Pretty darn crazy. And it's hard to pick up when you're doing a raglan, I have always found, because And I never know if I'm picking up the right leg. Because how do you pick up that row, that first row where you've got the increases? How do you do that? How do you do that? Hi, Mitzi. Oh, people. Okay, so then, right, because this feels like I'm doing this row. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't, I don't know. Okay, so I picked up past that. See how wonky it looks when you pick up past a raglan increased? I don't know if I did that right. But that's not bad. Well, that gives me a little bit of joy and encouragement and hope for this sweater project. I'm also quite happy because it's quite cold. I think the high today is like 65. We've been in the 30s in the overnights. Isn't that joyful? I love the cold weather, but I actually had to concede a couple of days ago and turn the house heat on for my husband because he was getting so cold. And he really is doing a lot of heavy work with my sister-in-law to put in these lines. So they're having to dig trenches in caliche, which is what our ground is. The reason we get floods here is because our ground gets so dry that the ground is like cement. It's called caliche. It's dirt with such a low moisture content that it's like cement. It's really hard. So, you know, he's been working hard, so I turned the heat back on for him. And now next week, Friday's supposed to be 90, and the overnight temps are supposed to be ranging at about 55. So I will be miserable come next week. Like, I'm really cheerful right now, really cheerful. I will be miserable come next week. We are opposite season people. And it wouldn't be so bad if I could drive, because then I could do all kinds of stuff in the wintertime with the kids. But since he won't drive, it makes it difficult. I think I am mucking up this one. But here's the thing, what if I just get close enough and see what happens? Because what's the worst thing that could happen, right? Stitch markers to the rescue. Do you know that you can buy really big locking stitch markers? That is what I use most of the time. I don't usually use the small ones, I use the big ones. Oh, I don't know what's going on here. Remember that girl that I gave that blind machine, computer machine magnifier thing to? Her mom sent me a picture. They use it in her classroom now and her grades are going up. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. You know? And I did not spend as much time on my hair this morning as I should have or could have. But and I shouldn't say should have, because I don't think women should have to do a bunch of crazy crap. I think we should just do what we want. The fact that we are raised to believe that we have to be decorative, that's part of our thing in life, I think is kind of nuts and leads us to problems in adulthood. Let's see how this works. And it was interesting. My daughter was asking me a bunch of questions last night about meeting my husband, and now that my son's dad's back in the picture, about that whole deal, you know. And it's so hard because, you know, they're kids. You don't want to necessarily tell them all this stuff, but you got to tell them something. She got all teary-eyed when she was hearing the story of how we met, and you know, but really, did you just fall in love with him and want to marry him? No, I didn't. That's not why we got married. She's like, but, and I said, here's the thing, honey. And I felt a little bit bad about it. Who you marry is one of the most important decisions, who you spend your life with. But you got to take it seriously. And then at times, you also just have to do stuff. And I felt like at the time, my son just really needed a dad. I felt like we both had the same kind of belief system. It's grown and changed over the years, and I think we're further apart now than we were when we met. But it's been more than a decade. Of course that's the case. People change, and circumstance changes. And that in sickness and in health thing is a real deal. I can feel something here. Sickness and in health is a real deal, and it's a hard deal. And it's different. Like, most men leave women when they get sick. Most women stay with men, but it's very challenging. It's very hard because those men change more from sickness than women. And I'm saying this after doing lots of research into it because I became blind in the middle of my life, and I knew that that was going to affect my relationships. And so a lot of studies have been done about how disability impacts marriages and stuff, families, whatever, children rearing. And, you know, we've had a very entertaining years. We've had an entertaining marriage. I mean, life's not bad today. How can you really regret all the things in the past? Because there's not a darn thing you can do about them. And if you like where you're at, and I like where I'm at today, you know, I don't always get to do the things that I want to do. But isn't that true for everybody? So, it's so interesting to raise daughters. It's so different. And my husband is not catching up as fast on how boys and girls are different. And I said one day, I said, look at our little girl dogs versus little boy dogs. Little boy dogs are a little bit standoffish, and they're protective, and they're whatever. And the little girl dogs are like, pet me, give me attention, cuddle me. And that's girls as they go through aging. It's all about attention. So all I've managed to do this week in the Yarn Yards is a couple more rows on my big peach blanket, a bunch of squares, because honestly, I have all of these squares, green ones, and then I think 4 in the larger size. And I did a bunch about the same in the white last week. So I will be pulling out squares for the baby blanket, and I have a few different pinks. So I'll be making that plan. Because apparently she's due in June. So I got to get that peach blanket done. I got to do the baby blanket. And then if I can get this done, this is cleaning off my desk here because it was a mess. It's my daughter's 10th birthday this month. I have a present for every week. She gets to open a present. And this week she got an axolotl t-shirt. And then I don't know which one I'm going to give her for next week. But there's a bunch of presents. And they're not fancy and they're not crazy. We're taking one friend to one of those activity places on her birthday weekend. And then we are doing cupcakes for the class. We have to do 2 dozen. And we may also be doing cupcakes for book club, which could be another 2 dozen. So that's actually a lot. It is a lot. My son is graduating. Apparently one of his classes is going to leak over now into June. So he may not want to actually go out to eat until then. I don't know. So we're going to do an out to eating thing with just the grandparents and all the parents. And just the grandparents on my side and his biological dad's side. So that's, I have 3 of my parents still alive, and he was one of his. So that's 4 of the grandparents, and then the 3 parents and his sister. So I think, what does that make, 10? Nine. It makes 9. So that's been my spring. It's been the start of my spring. I hope you've had a good week. This has been a long chat, but look, I'm here. Do you want to stick with it until I get to see if this actually works? See, I also have a hard time because of the raglan, at those raglan increases. It's like, am I picking up in the right row? So that's where I think we're going to run into some problems here, is that I think once I get to these needles, I'm not going to be in the right row the whole time. But if I were able to start this project over with a little bit of a starting ground, I think that would make me happy. It might make me start it sooner. Okay, I got the needles in, the whole circle, we think. Let's see how it goes. Oh, I actually got a paid day this week. The other librarian had a sick day. She got really sick. And then her son stayed home with a grandchild and should have coordinated for a grandparent because he missed something that could have given him a boost at work. And, real life parenting, that's what happens. So that was kind of a boost for me. And I should have another day later this month, the last week of school, because we do have to close the library early for, see, and now I can't pull any further, because that one was actually too low. How am I going to do that? I'm going to go back this way and see what happens. So we actually closed the library before the last day of school because they don't pay her into the summer to do her inventories. So she's got to be on a field trip, and so I will get a paid day that week also. And that's kind of exciting, It's not like $150 for 2 paid days is going to make or break it, but it's certainly exciting and fun and helps with all the little eating out and stuff that we've got going on, because we normally don't eat out that much. And every time you eat out, it's $50, $60. So we're very excited. Every little bit helps, and I just like being a part of it. Can I just say I like being a part of it? Okay. What do we got going on here? Ooh, I split a stitch. Kind of glad I did this thing. I'm kind of glad I did this. how to do this. Where are we blocking? So, oh yeah, this one's split. Did that just work? Did that just work? I think it worked, people. Oh my God. Oh my God. I think it worked. How exciting. Oh, I lost a stitch. Okay. Okay, lost that stitch. Figure that out when we get there. How exciting. Thank you so much for sitting here with me, being my friends, and helping me get through this. Keeping me honest every week and enjoying some of the videos of my cats and dogs. Please feel free to like, to subscribe. That would be really nice. Share. I do have some fun little videos. And Patreon. Support me over there. It's super helpful. And follow for free on Patreon because you can do the whole Patreon thing for free. I'm not super active over there, but there's more content than you see for the followers and the paid people. So just know that. It's not a ton, but it's out there. Love ya. Look with your heart first.